so long, and I know MaxPax and Clem are more recent additions, but like they've been dominant for 2 years. For neither of them to have won the TLMC is a bit bonkers, but Hero's been dominating this tournament series, so I guess it makes sense. Alright, in the top right-hand corner of the map, our blue Protoss player, he has picked Spirit Crusher for us to start this series, and it is MaxPax in the top right-hand corner. In the bottom left, our red Terran player from Team Liquid, Clem. And guys, you know what? I love you guys all so much, you can have a
game pause.
Prediction. About 5 minutes to bet your WardiTV Twitch channel points right now on who you think wins MaxPax versus Clem best of 7 on fresh new maps. Who adapts better to new maps? I always felt MaxPax and Clem are both kind of players who are very comfortable in preparation in terms of when they've played a lot, they get better and more comfortable. I actually think both of these guys are not the sort of players who I would say, here, here's something fresh and new, and they're the first to adapt or be good. Like, obviously, sometimes their skill and talent is enough to, still make them look very good on something fresh and new patch or new maps. But I wouldn't say they're my first picks to be like, oh yeah, you give these guys something fresh, we're good, So yeah, I feel like something a little bit uneasy. As MaxPax going to ask Clem if he is ready. And we will get this underway. Game 1 of this best of 7, back on track. We follow a probe down to the bottom side in the early stages. Alright, game 1, best of 7. Again, I almost said grand finals because A, best of 7, and B, MaxPax versus Clem, but no. We do have the grand finals coming up after this, which will be featuring Kira, of course. He takes on the winner of this series, whether that is Clem or MaxPax. What's funny is that it's guaranteed to be a PvT, because MaxPax is a Protoss, and Clem is playing Protoss instead of Terran in TvT right now. So, we're guaranteed a PvT final, unless Clem has decided that this is it. This is finally the day he goes back to playing Terran versus Terran. I do not think he does. So, that's kind of nice for us. That means we got a couple TVPs in a row, but I think that's okay. We already had our best of 7 TVT go the distance, so we've had some TVT. It's time for us to see the non-mirror matchups now as we come across the map, the probe coming over, and just going to be having our Nexus and the command center building up as we get this underway. WardiTV is not real time, is it? What do you mean? This is live right now. Is that what you mean? We are live right now. These games are happening as we speak. The players are sat in their gaming chairs, clicking their keyboards and mice. Hence the pause. Hence the pause. We actually have to stop and wait for the pause to play out. Yeah. Crazy, right? I do think sometimes I'm like, you know what would be really good if we're watching replays and just to get that authentic live experience, if there's a pause in the game, instead of skipping through, we actually just pause the replay for a little bit of time, just to get that authentic experience of, watching the games live sometimes. Three Marines are available. A couple of SCVs pulled into Clem. He's going to lose one Marine pretty quickly. Now he's got one Marine left over. Second Marine shows up. A couple of shots on the Adept. Second and third Marine show because he's got the reactor on the barracks. No Reaper makes you have a little bit less kind of range with your units, but the reactor is going to be very good at just giving you enough units overall. And so Clem should be okay here. Second Adept showing up, but we're going to have 5 Marines very shortly. He's just going to run for a moment, takes one more hit. There's the 2 extra Marines. And this dance at the start is looking to be A-okay for both players. I don't think anyone is overly concerned with how this has panned out. Hey, what's up, Michael, on the YouTube chat as well? Just saying thanks for all your hard work. I appreciate the kind words, mate. Thanks for tuning in today. Hope the games are good for you. As you have the Marines just continue to gather up, the Adept continue to shade up, the depots keep raising and lowering to let units out and to block the Adepts from coming in. That's obviously an expectation here. No surprises about that one, as this Adept is going to shade through once again. Just going to see a Cyclone popping out. The Adept's going to try and come through once more. Marines are stepping up. The Cyclone locks onto an Adept already, which is getting pushed up the upper right side. That Adept is going to go down. The other Adept is in the natural. The Marines are going to be able to kill that as well. So both of the Adepts early in this game go down. Here on Spirit Crusher, I've not talked much about the map early. This map to me is... I don't have much to add to this map. I feel like it speaks for itself. You've got a good choice of bases. Obviously, it's kind of mirrored top left to bottom right, so it's diagonally symmetrical, which, yeah, I mean, everyone kind of has their own bases apart from these bases here. Even then, you could go one base here, one base for me, one base for you or so. So yeah, it's yeah, it's kind of just standard and I think just solid. This is a map which I think has had some fine games on it as well and definitely shows the potential of it. So another one of the maps I was considering for the WardiTV events, because again, I think my goal was to try and hit something fresh but standard for the most part. Just didn't quite make the cut, as we do see the Stalker's going to blink forward aggressively, clean out the siege tank, clean out the medevac as well, I think. Getting quite a few Stalker kills as Clem. So I wouldn't say this was a disaster at all. He's going to lose a final few Marines. How many Stalkers went down? 4. I think Clem would have liked to get maybe 5 or 6. Good shutdown from MaxPax as Clem's first push there does not maybe do as much as he would have liked. Just going to have the Viking coming across the far right-hand side. It's going to try and get all the way over there. Turn into the main base as well. As Stalkers and the Prism continue to make their way down to the bottom left. The Marines gathering up on the natural. Liberator going to join up there as well. The Stalkers and the Prism again going to get set. A couple more Stalkers warping in. Marines going to step through. Tank is going to siege. The SCV is still doing some repairing. The Stalkers have to blink back once again as the Viking, Siege Tank, Marines, and the Stim Pack all continue to come through. A Nexus of MaxPax sets up on the third base as well. There are a few more Stalkers just getting warped in here from MaxPax, who's going to get those up and underway. And our Siege Tank is going to be getting a blast off. We do see a Stalker going down there. The Marine's going to pull in. The SCV is trying to get to the front. They go back and forth. That Viking's still going to be firing. The SCV is coming back the other direction also. It's going to be seen against him. +1. All coming through. Add a few more Stalkers into this as well. And there's a few extra Stalkers warping in right now as MaxPax brings this into play once again. And we look to continue through. A few more shots continue to come about. Orbital Command going to take some damage as we speak. We step forward once more. 3 probes, 6 SCVs. All going down. MaxPax obviously able to stand up with these Stalkers, and this Orbital Command has already been taking some damage. We lose a couple more SCVs. Clem got to be careful. The tank doesn't want to be too far forward. We're not on Stim Pack just yet. This is the benefit of MaxPax having cleaned up that initial attack of Clem. Able to come here and be very aggressive with these Stalkers right now. Stand in the fight. Trade out well. Use your Blink Micro to maintain those units' hit points. Very nice. Well, the Stalkers pull around. Gonna go for the blink into the main as we come straight up here. Combat Shield is in danger. Oh, we're gonna lose Stim Pack as well. Clem in a world of trouble. That Stim was so close to being done. It was one of the things I thought he was gonna get to, and then obviously this game becomes a whole lot easier. Doesn't see the Observer either. No scan for that. Obviously the Prism was there for high ground vision, just in terms of getting rid of, MaxPax's ability to see what's going on. This is obviously kind of the barracks place in the worst possible place, right? Like, this is a clear blink-up spot. And I think if Clem plays this map one more time, I don't think he's ever going to build Stim in this position in a TVP again, right? Unless he knows it's no blink. Because, yeah, that's just asking for your tech labs to be denied. You're going to try and move forward, obviously, without Stim. You definitely don't want to be on the map and trading. MaxPax is going to finish charge, and I wonder if he can actually just fight with charge lots and Stalkers before Clem has upgrades. And absolutely just secure himself what is likely going to be it would be very good trades if you're going to fight pre-Stim, right? Is what this comes down to. How many gates are we on? 8? MaxPax is going to fight. There's no two ways. And like I say, you can look at this and say, well, Clem's army supply is good. He's got +1. Yes, but the lack of Stim at this stage is... It's just a huge deal. I mean, plain and simple, sometimes it's not rocket science. As the army here stepping through. Clem obviously trying to take a third as well, so you're in a less defensive position than you might have been in other scenarios. Widow Mine is going to go off with the Prism. 2 Widow Mines. The Prism gets denied. Okay. But if there's a way to defend, that would be the start of it, because now there's no warping potential, but the medevac goes down, and Clem's going to get overwhelmed anyway. And MaxPax capitalizes on that initial cleanup of Clem's push and is going to get himself inside. On the far left-hand side, our blue Terran player down a game. Team Liquid's Clem. Far right, Red Protoss. It's going to be MaxPax. Probe gonna chrono boost, gateway and the assimilator coming about. The probe of MaxPax heading over to the left-hand side. TV probe coming about. Let's just get settled here for a few moments. Let's see our SCV and our probe gonna nibble at each other. We're just going to sit up to the top again next. New assimilator coming through. The adept is going to chrono boost on out as we have ourselves the first few moments of this game looking peaceful. Factory coming up from Clem. Again, I'm going to play no Reaper. It's just going to play a Marine into Reactor, get a lot of Marines on the way. Talk a bit about our map because it is interesting in case this is your first time seeing the TLMC this week, your first time catching Kill Switch. We got an in-base watchtower, and the reason is this entire main is big and it's very exposed around here. So you take this watchtower and you get vision over drop potential. There are some slow zones here. You can mine out this gold and get towards base in this direction. On this other side, there's obviously mineral wall up into the natural as MaxPax throws down a gateway, so he's looking to be aggressive from the get-go on this map. And Clem has Marines and a Hellion initially chase this adept down. What's very fun about this map is that you typically have to take a third base here or here. I think you can maybe kind of get up here and take the third base over in this direction, but that's not really something we've seen much of yet, so I think that's a little bit of a question mark as well. It's definitely, so far players have been kind of taking a third here. Quite a few players have kind of taken a third over here as well. I mean, our first time seeing this map was between Bjorn and Zaun in the group stages. Zaun didn't take his natural, he took his natural here instead, and that turned into a pretty fun game. This map is very aggressive. You end up kind of clashing horns quite early on between these two, between players quite frequently. And obviously, that's only going to be accelerated by the proxied gateway. Twilight Council coming up though, third gateway finishing. Like I say, going to be a lot of pressure coming out of MaxPax as Clem. I don't love what's happening. Clem doesn't have the info because he's going no Reaper. He's essentially getting punished by MaxPax, who's choosing to be aggressive. Yeah, you're kind of getting punished because you just don't know what your opponent is doing, and by not knowing what your opponent's doing, you end up in some weird, difficult positions to deal with. And this is one of them. You just don't know these Stalkers are warping in. He does pull back. He doesn't have any potential of a bunker up here right now, but he did only send the Widow Mine across the map, so that is nice. These Stalkers, I mean, Clem sees it now, and as you see this, you realize, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Going to pull up a few SCVs, but he does have high ground, and the high ground's going to help a lot. If this was a map that had a clean, like, flat land into the natural, I think Clem's in a lot of trouble. But because MaxPax has to step that much further forward to get the first shots off with the Stalkers, it's not going to go that well. Clem gets two of them right now. Liberator is, I think, going to be... Oh my god, it just skirts the edge of the Stalker's vision. And the bunker looks like it's going to get online. I wonder if MaxPax is going to try and do something with this rock tower or anything. Doesn't seem like it, though. Siege tank now available too, and I think this initial 3 gate is going to be held off pretty easily. So pretty comfortable defense. It means Blink will be later because you don't go Twilight Council after 1 gate. You went Twilight Council after a few gates. So the Blink is a bit later than usual, so you can't be as aggressive with the Blink straight away. And your Robo is very late as well, so that's definitely a factor as Clem does find the gateway here. Now the Liberator Siege is up. He's actually going to get a 4th probe that comes back to mining a little bit too soon. And Clem starts to get some good damage early here on kill switch as MaxPax comes back around this side. I was wondering, Clem needs to boost this medevac. If he gets it available, the Stalkers won't get it. There's dead airspace down here, so you're safe. I was wondering, does this rock tower drop onto the mineral patches? I think it... Does it become like a rock-based defense here? Because I was wondering if MaxPax could knock that down and then just chip through the rocks to gain another access point into this base, but I don't think it's necessarily going to matter by the time it comes around, as the 2-tank siege and the Adepts are going to commit in. We're just going to go for this. Auto turret will drop down. This is all about getting as many units as possible. We get a couple Stalkers. The Adepts will take some heavy damage as well. Clem has taken the Watchtower, by the way, with the SCV here. It's just mining through and looking good. Marines, medevac, and tank continue to step up. The Adept goes down. A couple Stalkers are still taking shots as well. We are going to be seeing 2 more Stalkers going down, and again, tank in range now as Clem just steps a little bit more aggressively forward. He wants to get rid of this pylon and this gateway, but it's difficult to justify stepping that far across right now. As MaxPax will just take this base. This is, to me, the absolute obvious base to take. But it's not been obvious for everyone. As, we have never seen also these rocks in the center be knocked down to remove these slow zones. That could also be something we see if we get a longer game, perhaps. Okay, sitting there. Marines, the tank, going to be coming to step forward. A couple of Stalkers going to begin to get knocked down. Oh, MaxPax is going to say GG. Wow, he just gets out of there. Oh, he has been hoping we maybe see a bit of a longer game. We just don't. Yeah, he just realized he doesn't have the Stalker count or anything to deal with the push from Clem, and he knows obviously he went through gates. He went take TV. No, I don't think I have any power on take TV. All right, let's get this underway. As in the top right-hand side, our Blue Terran player from Team Liquid, bringing it back a map. Good defense from him. It is Clem. As our red Protoss in the bottom left, it is MaxPax. And thank you for tuning in today. Again, we're doing a little bit more of a push right now towards just mentioning things. So if you guys are enjoying the stream, do consider liking it if you're on the YouTube channel. Scroll down, give it a like, subscribe to the YouTube if you've not already. We're less than 20 subs away from 45,000 subs on YouTube, so if you want to help us out there, that would be amazing. We have very, like I say, audacious goals of hitting 50k subs this year. We'd have to do a little bit more, but maybe if we start pushing it more aggressively, it's still doable, so do check that out. Obviously, if you're on the Twitch, you can hit the follow button as well. I appreciate it. As we just take a second to get into Killer's Mile. This is the map which I've also added to the WardiTV tournament map rules. I think this one plays out in a fun macro way. Again, I don't think it's too risky of a pick. I think it's solid. I like it. I got some of the points for my votes when it came to the TLMC voting as well, which you guys can do, ! TLMC, if you want the link to vote on the maps. Very happy to provide that for you guys. You guys should absolutely go vote on the maps which have been your favorite this week. You've got 7 days to vote as well, so if you want to watch through some of the VODs and vote, or if you just want to vote off the few maps you've seen already, something caught your eye and you thought was fun, get out there, go vote. Let's get as many TLMC votes as possible. I really want to push this. I'm going to be talking about it all week long, so get out there and vote for your maps. Oh, the middle base is gold? No. These are just normal. Yeah. Kind of a risky middle of the map expand because you definitely can get attacked in from the sides. Obviously, left side, top side, bottom side. Shots over the ledge are very possible as well, of course. See our Adept going to shade out towards the upper right side, so again, just going to be journeying across. All these maps look super cool. Wish you could see more of them. Well, like I said, we've added some of them into the WardiTV map pool, so we're actually going to be seeing some of them in WardiTV events. And obviously, hopefully, we get a ladder map pool update that actually just adds a bunch of them in as well. That'll also be very cool to see, so... But yeah, this is our... As far as I'm concerned, this selection of maps is our group of maps to kind of pick maps from if you want to mix it up a little bit for the next, for the foreseeable future, basically. So, very happy to have them all be so solid. I think that's the cool thing. Like when I was trying to pick some, I was like, it was difficult for me to pick any out. And I don't think that's because we lack like a really good contender. I just think that they're all genuinely very good contenders to be played on a regular basis. It's a good problem to have, right? When all the maps just look decent enough to be, put into map pools. I'm obviously very different style here, actually playing Reapers, playing Hellions as well. Dive through, Stalker just going to take some damage. The Adept moves up as well. We pull back. We're going to see the Hellions are going to dive by, going to get into the main base. Stalkers get rid of one Hellion. We're going to see this... Adept does not get rid of the Reapers, so Clem's going to be able to start getting some probes. Breaking through here, going to get up to 3 workers, I believe. That Reaper should be able to catch that one. Good pro pull with the block. He gets the 3 worker kills anyway. Maybe could have targeted this one for 4. That was good in denial from MaxPax, because that could have easily been 4, if not 5. So, yeah, MaxPax handles it. Obviously, some lost mining time as well, as the bunker drops down into the front of the natural. Robo facility finishing up from MaxPax in a few moments. Blink is halfway done. Siege tank and Marines being produced. And this medevac coming across the map for Marines and a Cyclone, heading straight down to the south over these next few moments. Pylon drops in, Cyclone going to drop next to it, and obviously this is Clem just keeping up the pressure, wanting to just keep on going. Obviously this is fun, because if Clem ever gets a chance to hit this third base, the drop up into the natural is very fun. There's this dead airspace down here a little bit as well, so you can kind of go like jump into different bases. So that's pretty neat too. Not a lot of dead airspace, but there's definitely a little bit of dead airspace back there. I don't know if it's enough to actually hang a medevac in. Maybe that's an incorrect assumption for me, as the medevac just about pulls it back. Marine's going to jump into the bunker. And you have the Stalkers gathering up. The Observer going to set up there. Raven going to be right there as well. So the Observer goes down immediately for MaxPax, and that's 75 gas down the drain, simply for the fact the Raven spawned just as he was getting the Observer into a position to keep a spy on what was happening on the natural of the Terran. Stalkers join up together. A few more Stalkers coming across. Stim pack and the +1 upgrade coming through from Clem. We got some extra SCVs building as well. And this group of units from MaxPax is going to sit out the front. +1 attack, charge going through. We had a few more gateways into play. The Stalkers at the front is going to sit right there in the bunker with a few Marines inside hanging about. And as we're going to pull back a little, the Observer of MaxPax coming back across and heading toward the main base. Got the Observer again, so that's a second obs going down, and that's actually really nice, because now no high ground vision, Clem can focus a little bit more on defending out over here. I talked a little bit about this map, I think, when I was like, oh, this feels good for blinking in, but it's like, it's actually a fairly compact main, so I actually think this tank could be like here, and with this tank being here, you really cover this space, this blink-in spot, and you cover a lot of the natural blink-in positions that you would do as MaxPax as well. The beauty of, obviously, MaxPax and Clem is that when they play each other, they really figure out, down to the T, exactly where units should be defensively. So at first, you're not going to have, on new maps, exactly the correct positions for tanks defensively, but I think over time, you'll see Clem, if he plays this map more, will get a little bit better with that tank positioning and figuring out where things should be at. And MaxPax will also figure out what he can do when it comes to kind of trying to find openings. There's going to be the Prism coming in just as Clem leaves. Now, the question is, does Clem turn back around? Answer, no. He's very confident that he's actually pulled SCV, so yeah, he wants to just send it. He will deal with these Zealots over the next few moments. Pulls back. Oh, what a lift up! Dodges the Widowmine shots! Oh, I love that. That's going to make this a little bit more complicated for Clem. Just a longer defense. More SCVs going down. Good job from MaxPax, as he is obviously in trouble on the other side, though. +1 is done from Clem. Not done for a few more seconds from MaxPax. Clem drops the order turrets in, as we continue to just shove on through. A lot of his SCVs that were in this army down, but he's 30 army supply ahead, as we do see the tank sieging up and a couple of Zards still dropping. Looks as though MaxPax is done on the other side of the map. He's only got a couple of Immortals. There's no Colossus just yet. Clem's tanks, though, left on their own in the background. Clem pulls back to try and deal with some of the Zealots. Still about a 30 army supply lead. Reinforcements are going to start showing up because the pressure from MaxPax stopped on the other side. And I think that means that Clem is just going to be able to get across and play cleanup on this base. And Clem is looking to take a 2-1 lead in this best of 7. Another medevac showing up, Marine coming around. The Observer right there is going to see the lift up, and so we can preemptively move some Stalkers across, but it's not enough. And because you blink over, you're not going to have that danger of like blinking underneath and grabbing the medevac out of nowhere. So that not being a factor is going to make it a little bit easier here for Clem as well. He just played cleanup on a pylon and so on. And I think it's fair to say that this one is looking pretty good for Clem. A few Stalkers and the Prism are trying to make things happen as Clem pulls back. I mean, he's already killed the third base. Now, that said, Clem was obviously pretty committed. He's actually down on SCVs right now, so this game is not done yet. The problem I think we foresee for MaxPax is that he's playing a 2-base setup versus 2 bases. Typically, that's good for a Terran. He's going to try and get to a Dark Shrine. He does have Colossus that Clem does not have a lot of answers to. But Clem is adding Vikings, so he's starting to get answers to the problems that MaxPax might provide for him, given a little bit more time to keep setting up. And I think the biggest issue is if you step to a third base right now as MaxPax, Clem's going to punish you by jumping on those Colossus. No thermal lance, so they don't have the range to keep themselves as safe as possible. The Vikings have just found the Prism heading across to the right, and MaxPax didn't realize it straight away. And she turned it into the Vikings, but the Vikings kind of blundered it. As Clem drops into the main base, 3 medevacs, but he's actually going to lift back up, and he's actually going to take quite a few shots on 1 medevac. He actually took a moment to go back and relift some units, which was a little bit costly as well. MaxPax supply block losing the pylon. A new one on the way is barely going to free him from a supply block, though, so he's going to have to get another couple. Starts to fix that now. These are just macro errors that are being forced by Clem because Clem is, killing the pylons. These are not just MaxPax's, not noticing. It's a hectic game. Dark Shrine is about to finish, though. That's where that Prism is going to remain very important. Clem is only a 2-base Terran player, so he doesn't have a lot of scans available at any point in time. And obviously, he might just be dropping... He is still just dropping mules aggressively here, so he's not saving scans against DTs. He actually scanned for the Observer. Marine finds the Prism. This is so annoying because you can't warp in DTs if you're constantly on the run, so if the DTs warp in, they would have to be at home. It gives Clem more time to prep a defense. There is the first DT coming across the map right now. Yeah, no turrets from Clem, who probably knows he's ahead, so you could argue maybe he should be playing as though he's ahead and just kind of guaranteeing, how could I lose this? Let DTs do too much is definitely one way of that. So maybe he should have built up some turrets by now. As we continue to work our way around, MaxPax going to try and re-expand the DT, gets into the main. So yeah, that's definitely going to do some damage as Clem has just used a scan here as well, so scans might be an issue for him. No, scans are absolutely an issue here for him. Clem does not have the scans he needs. He's got a DT on the army as well. Clem's in trouble as the SCVs are going to pull away. He's going to try and build turrets in the main. And he's going to be committed to this fight right now. As the DT is still here swiping, he could really do with the scan. Where are we at? 50 energy now. He does scan across the map. He's just going to use this as a chance to load up and go elsewhere. But there's a pylon there, so we're going to get a little bit of a heads up about this. Clem, another DT approaching the front. Starport on a reactor, not a tech lab, and DTs are helping MaxPax in a big way as Clem does not go too far with those medevacs. He is actually going to try and come in the other direction. The Stalkers in the main base open the door for the Vikings, though, and they get rid of 2 out of 4 Colossus already. Awkward map to attack in on because of these rocks, but if you open those rocks, maybe enough space for then Clem to attack in more properly. A 3rd Colossus goes down as MaxPax is losing his splash damage, and for all the effects of the DTs, the 3rd base goes down again. DT's showing up in the natural, still no missile turret there. But yeah, Clem's breaking forward, and the robo facility's right in the front too, which means that is now extremely exposed, and Clem able to push his way in, deny the robo. That means tech units are going to be denied. And at this point, it's just a matter of scanning up the DT, I think. I don't think anything else is going to matter here. The Vikings get the last Colossus. We scan for the DT. Probes are going down. And Clem looks as though he's just about going to clutch it in the end. To scan across the map, obviously now saving all the energy for scans. As MaxPax is going to have to type GG. Clem is going to win it on Killer's Mile as it gets a little bit hectic and a little bit crazy. GG's Clem takes the 2-1 advantage in this best of 7. And will be game number 4. In the bottom right now, trailing the series, our red Protoss is MaxPax. And these two so good that little advantages early in the game. I mean, it's little things that decide the games between these two, and little things early typically snowball. These two do play long games as well. It's just they have so much danger and potential in their play to end it earlier on. You definitely see it happen in a fair amount. Actually had a good bit of back and forth in that last game. MaxPax very narrowly made a comeback. He just defending them, dropping them. The drop in the main was so smart by Clem because he was able to pull the Stalkers away and it exposed the Colossus. Without exposing those Colossus, it would have been a little bit more difficult for Clem, because if the Vikings protect the Colossus, you can't really break into the 2 base setup at least. And I feel like MaxPax was doing enough with the DTs to keep Clem kind of scrambling, so well handled by Clem, though. I think it's fair to say that I think it's very fair to say that Clem was definitely in trouble, and a lot of people would just let that, make the game fall apart from there. That didn't happen. happened last time around. Clem kept it going. This has a map with an in-base expansion. We'll see if Clem utilizes that. See what we want to do on Slaginella, as MaxPax is looking to get the in-base right away. Alright, so we set up, as you have a CC in the back, both players going to take the in-base expansion and pocket expand. One of the most just standard pocket expands we've seen in a while. As the hallucination shades across to the left side, so we can see what's going on. Good selection of builds so far in this series. As the hallucination moves through, Marine going to be hitting that. They are going to drop the starport into play as well. And that command center going to be finishing in a few moments. So CC finishing up, the Marine going to hit the hallucination once again. And the hallucination just gets to see everything. So investing into the sentry early. Obviously it is a gas investment to get that hallucination out, but it does give you all the info you could ask for, so that is a big benefit. And now Blink is very much so on the way. Hallucination coming across over to the left side. There's a Widow Mine there, and we keep on trying to scout, trying to make sure we see what's going on. As the factory gonna move off the tech lab, so just be Marines to drop with if Clem does want to go across the other side. MaxPax is still very much so sticking to the Blink opener. 2 gateways, the Robo facility. Might just be a way for him to get into a fast third base. This base over here has a lot of access points once these rocks die 7-8 minutes in. And there's definitely a few different ways in, so you've got to be ready to defend from multiple angles on the third. Obviously, super early, there shouldn't be too many units coming from multiple sides, but just obviously changes the way you play defensively at points as the hallucination continues to come over. Medevac will boost once more, and away we go. Medevac loads back up. There is that third Nexus coming down from MaxPax. Still yet to see. I mean, Clem, okay. I guess we are seeing what he wants to do. He's going to be going Banshees. Banshee tank, lots of damage output. Maybe a Marine tank push as the Banshees try to pull MaxPax around a little bit as well. Hallucination just going to hit. Obviously, again, good scouting because we keep on confirming what's going on. MaxPax is just going to know everything that Clem is moving for. Clem is very good with Banshees, so even if you know they're coming, he's likely going to find some openings, some opportunity, and a way to get some damage done here and there with them. The drop goes into the third base, and that's going to take some of the attention away from the Banshee in the main/natural. Battery's coming up, so it's not going to be potential for one Banshee alone to do much for long. Because Banshee does show up just before the battery's ready, and going to get a few more kills, +2, +3, +4, I think. Just depends if you try and save that Banshee quickly. Banshee's going to live into that bottom right corner. 6 workers killed already as Clem opens up with some damage. This next Banshee continues up through the top. Stimpak, combat shield +1. Coming on through. Clem never uncloaked this Banshee, a little bit of a mistake. Obviously, just letting energy drain off of it when it was just, being cloaked there in that corner made absolutely zero difference. So, it's a little bit of a mistake there. Unnecessary energy commitment as this Banshee here slips into the main. But there's a battery, so it's very difficult to really do much right now. There's a battery everywhere, so I think the only thing we'd really do is get the Banshees joined together. Get this Banshee uncloaked, just going to sit along the side and maybe just wait for an opportunity further down the line. I was wondering what's going on. I think that all these units are following this probe. This is the most protected probe. I don't know who this probe is. I don't know if he's the president of the Protoss Probe Society or what, but like, he's the most protected probe on the map right now. His 3 Stalkers acting as his personal shield to ensure his safety. Meanwhile, probes elsewhere getting slaughtered. As, you know, one probe has 3 Stalkers, all these probes only have 3 Stalkers and a sentry. It's just not really fair, right? It doesn't add up. A couple of probes go down. We do have ourselves the Zealots, the Immortal, the +1 attack upgrade all coming through. We had an extended thermal lance on into that as well. Again, the Prism up at the top is going to take a turn, and we just get ourselves ready to push in toward the main base here. Clem's obviously been passive on the ground, but he's been building up a good army. Upgrades are now done. MaxPax is immediately ready to attack, but I love this. There's a medevac to join up with these Marines as well, so MaxPax says this is not the position to commit to. And some Stalkers on the map start to get caught as well, and Clem maneuvers his way around. Also has a drop up over here. Looks like he might chase the watchtower or just join everything together. We still have the 2 different Banshees that are poised, and they are keeping some units out of position. Nope, this probe security detail has been removed down to 2 Stalkers. Either he's less important now, or he's, or he just can't afford 3 Stalkers all the time. Or maybe it's a less dangerous time. You only need 2 instead of 3. That is quite the choke point that Clem sets up on. Is they are going to begin to fire some shots here. The tank does a lot. The Widowmine's protect if you need to pull back against the Zealots quite heavily. So this Banshee moved a little, but hasn't done much. It's just the Observer here. I keep getting distracted by that little red dot on the minimap. It's the Prism I'm trying to keep an eye on over on this far left-hand side, which is still setting up and still thinking about what it might be able to do over time. This drops just 1 Zealot off, and Clem is a little slow to see the Zealot. I mean, I say a little slow, took him like a second instead of instantaneously moving. Look, you gotta, you know, move the goalposts when the guys are Clem and MaxPax, and they're both very good. Did the Prism recall? No, Prism... No, it did recall. Yeah, Viking was hunting it down. I didn't know if it already had the kill or not. So Prism recalls, we get 5 SCVs, kills which are... 5 SCVs is very manageable. Usually the thing with the Prism and the counterattacks that's really effective and impactful is obviously SCVs add up. But what's really impactful is usually pulling units away and opening up other positions of vulnerability because you're trying to defend that dropship from getting ridiculous amounts of workers. 5 SCVs going down in this circumstance I don't think is as scary. Let's look at the supply, by the way. 50 army supply lead from Clem. He has cleaned up, you know, 2,000 minerals to 500 minerals of resources on the map so far, so that plus Terran, I guess, just naturally getting a bit of a supply lead quickly in games is kind of what that looks like then, as the Zealots here going to try and run in. There's 2 Widow Mines in this mineral line, so these Zealots will not do much. Easy cleanup from Clem again. That's why the Prism's so nice, because you can say, oh, in this moment, it's actually going to be nice if I can just get plus 8 Zealots on this position. You can kind of make that call. Sending 8 Zealots across the map on their own is very scary, because if you get caught on the way across, you obviously lose 8 Zealots, and that's very expensive. And so being able to... That's why the Prism is just so powerful, because you can make an informed decision on whether you commit that many resources to the attack or not. Tell you what, this map has a lot of ledges to maneuver around. Clem, I feel like, is doing a lot of wandering around this corner, around that corner. Prism finds a great way in as it gets past the 2 Vikings and the Widow Mines there. Again, this is the Observer that Clem just didn't grab onto. And because of that, obviously the Widow Mines are known about, so MaxPax knew exactly the sort of approach to take. 1 more Viking in the center here, the Prism will die. Again, I'd say this is pretty fine for Clem, though, because the whole idea of this Prism play is trying to pull Clem out of position. Clem didn't really have to pull out of position to deal with this, right? The Vikings still cleaned up. The Prism still went down. Watchtower here gives Clem the heads up to get rid of that Zealot. Don't know if we needed to stim the entire army just to kill the Zealot that was coming in, but we push it back, and these players are going to get maxed out as the Widow Mine catches MaxPax just unawares. 1 Stalker down. Second Stalker here should be able to blink. A little bit of splash. Unfortunately, that Stalker that blink does go down, so the Widow Mine should be credited for that kill too. It forced the Stalker to be out of position. Minions gathering on the right side. Medevacs load up. Vikings going to come back towards the center. Those Medevacs there going to be in location. The rest of the bio continuing to come into the center. First DT swiping. Where's that at? It's on this base here. It's a quick scan. Obviously, missile turrets get invested into here from Clem. Already had a missile turret here, but there's no units, so it's not necessarily a defense, as These guys really are just sat back. The macro game is developing. Upgrades coming through. Shadow Stride coming online. Clem did not find any position to attack into initially. The Disruptor Shot will be far from the targets. First real Disruptor Shot attempt we've seen in the game. As again, we are stepping forward with these Vikings. We're going to recall a portion of the army into the natural because Clem has a lot of units here. He can probably just stand and fight this to some extent. Fight back against a few of the Zealots. I think this is a fine trade where it's like, the problem is if you lift up and leave, you're going to get blinked on by the Stalkers. If you do it too soon. But he's able to trade with quite a few Zealots there, take those units down. And MaxPax being made to respect the fact that Clem, even though he's not made a larger kind of main army attack on foot, he's still been pretty good at kind of finding areas and locations to kind of get in with a couple of drops and so on. And just threatening MaxPax from being too underprepared around the map. I like these rocks being collapsed because that's going to deny one of the attack pathways into this location for Clem, so you shut off that area. Collapses that tower. Does he want to collapse this tower too? Again, just denies... I think this one maybe not because this is a main pathway he's been using. Like, he's moving a lot around the top of the map, so this one maybe denies his own mobility. Versus this one denies... Like, he has no reason to be attacking through over here. Like, there's nothing really in this area to go attack. So that's just defending a position, whereas on the top it would be denying his movement. Obviously, MaxPax might like to, clean up these rocks and maybe knock these rocks down over here, for example, too. As Clem's going to find a Nexus. Now, there's a lot of Zealots bottom left-hand side that are about to attack on in. The drop over here is going to stem upwards and just going to find this line of static defense. Cannons will do pretty well against the Marines and Marauders. The Stalkers will add to that. Clem gets rid of the base. Can MaxPax swivel into position to make this overcommitment from Clem? Disruptor Shot's fire protects the army from the bio, which was very much so ready to take a trade. Obviously, as soon as Disruptor Shots start firing through, you got to respect that, as the whole position is going to be protecting a couple of Marines, which are going to be able to hold out the space here. 13 SCVs going down. DT on the top side as well. Clem has to start splitting up all over, try and get the defense going. He's down to 48 SCVs, so definitely territory where you're going to replace a few. As, yeah, he kind of needs a few more units just in general because those Zealots are causing issues, so MaxPax's big Zealot commitment works out. Got around the bottom side. Works out for him. Wouldn't mind here. We'll kill a Zealot off those. So the Watchtower is not going to be holdable. Same up here. Wouldn't mind just on the Watchtower. It's actually kind of a cute way of getting some work done. Of course, it is then an easy picking once you know about it. As MaxPax. A little bit of a fight in the center, sorry, just a little bit late to jump over here. First couple of Disruptor Shots going out. One Disruptor went down. The main portion of the force backs away from MaxPax. The Liberator puts some work in, cleans out those Zealots. The rest of the army from MaxPax still stepping through. SCVs will transfer up towards this base here as well. It's just going to get mining right on that position. The bio army will come about. The Watchtower taken back into Clem's favor. Starting to get liberated. This is obviously a really nice addition to the tech. Nice split on those Marines. Stops the Disruptor Shot from landing. Another nice split, minimizing the damage being taken. Doing a great job against those Disruptors so far. 15 minutes deep here on Solagenera currently. And kind of the game we've been waiting for between these two. We've had the more aggressive games. This is the more macro-focused game. And, yeah, it's delivering. 3 Colossus still available, so Clem's Viking count is very important. Setting those quite far back at the moment, I guess because he sees the Colossus are not here, but he knows he hasn't killed them, so... Like, he knows they're around, so yeah, just gonna keep his Vikings safe so they don't get picked off. Vikings are the kind of unit that puts, it takes a little bit of extra work to kind of micro them with this army because they're gonna trail forward a bit when maybe, because they're air units, with a ground army. As Clem finds this base on the bottom side, you get that pylon, you gotta stop the warp in, and this base, I think, will then just die. And MaxPax's instantaneous reaction to just warp in on location there is going to get punished a little as Clem chasing forward to find some Disruptors here too. Another Disruptor Shot not quite going to reach through that Watchtower positioning. Now the army comes in from the bottom. The couple Colossus already there. The Ghosts and the Bio unit's going to get forced back once more. Liberator top right is also going to deny mining it as well. As we warp in, 4 more Stalkers. The Disruptor's still producing. And Bioforce gets through the Watchtower. Nice connection. Finally a bit of a bad disruptor shot from MaxPax. This time Clem is looking elsewhere. As MaxPax continues to try and keep this army of Clem at bay. I'm going to join up from the bottom side to the top so he has the army size to maybe take a more straight up fight. As that disruptor from the edge, reinforcing, goes down immediately. MaxPax obviously can continue to just send one, even 2 disruptors at a time. He has 8, so you can send 2 disruptors at a time and always have disruptor shots available. As the Immortal here is going to go down. The Libera is definitely going to help to start taking these positions, especially in these choke points. This map, I think we've seen as being fairly choky as the Colossus show up from the bottom side, and I think Clem's caught a little bit off guard by that. The Colossus coming back into play. You guys remember those Vikings he sent home? He never brought them back into the main force, so all of these Vikings not involved. The Colossus go huge on this fight. Clem finally shows up, and yeah, look how easy it would have been to get rid of them. But the Vikings were back at home. Clem sent them back. He never brought them back over. And unfortunately, that is going to be the... I wonder if he... Is there a world he assumed the Colossus had been killed by MaxPax to free up supply for other units? I don't think so. I think he just forgot to bring his Vikings back into the army, to be honest. Like, he forgot to think about the fact that Colossus still do exist. MaxPax with a great flank in, going to take a supply lead now. And the Stalkers will continue to ping it back and forth. Disruptor shots trying to reach. We snipe a Zealot, which doesn't even get a kill, but hey... Damage is damage, and at this point we're fighting for every little bit of damage that we may be able to get here. We had a Neo Steel plate, an upgrade on, 4 more DTs, Void Rays, and Immortals. Gonna start diving through. A couple disruptor shots are gonna land short of the mark. Oh, that one isn't though. Dead center, Ghost and a bunch of Marauders taking a chunk of damage, and Clem losing a lot of the mobility and positioning he'd been able to set up on the map so far. As MaxPax sets up now, and we do have the Zealot DT run by here. DT's going to blink on top of Ghosts and Marauders. Oh my goodness, everything's going well for MaxPax. My concern for MaxPax is that his army's not that good, right? Like, it is Stalker, Disruptor. It's very focused on harassing units and basically map control, so it's very difficult to attack in. It's very difficult to attack into the Terran player. But this works because he actually gets into position. Now you can zone Clem out from coming in defensively. It's all about, again, because now the Terran's kind of attacking into you because you took this position. Now he comes into you with the main army. That's what this army's great at. It's great at dealing with the Terran coming in towards you. It's not great at dealing with you going into the Terran player. So that's my concern for MaxPax, but so far he's making moves that make sense given the army that he's working with. Clem loses 17 more SCVs down to 43 workers. His army supply good, but he's going to eat some more disruptor shots. Even just a couple of clips adds up over time. And as we try and come down to the bottom side here, we get rid of one disruptor. The few Zealots are going to try and charge up as well. Mothership is in production from MaxPax, looking to add to this army in the late stages. Prism just sat between bases right now, is warping in DTs. Definitely a problem for Clem. Doesn't want to have to go deal with that. He is going to come in for an attempted surround here. Gets rid of the first 2 disruptors. They will not land. A lot of disruptors going down. Bad fight for MaxPax. Now disruptors finally getting to go. But you can't get jumped on by the Terran, and this is exactly why. Disruptors just keep dropping. Clem will take one more shot, but the Immortal goes down too, and suddenly MaxPax has no gas to rebuild. So all he can rebuild with is going to be Zealots. DTs in the top left are going to find the Planetary Fortress. Too much going on for Clem to deal with that right now, but he is going to get bases in return because he wins the fight out in the center. You can't get caught off guard. You've got to keep the disruptor shots going to the Terran army. You can't let him get the jump on you. It's so difficult to recover a fight when the Terran army is on top of your forces. Major mistake from MaxPax there. And that, again, that's the risk of playing this army. You know, that's the risk of not having more solidified units, such as Colossus in your army, and relying so much so on the disruptors. Getting jumped on is just going to be so punishing. Now, he does block this base off, but obviously Clem kills off a base and 20 workers. All these probes are off on a journey. They are going to wander across. They've heard the southwest of Selaginella is quite nice this time of year. Better than pretty much everywhere else where the Terran army is, but unfortunately they're kind of being hunted. We'll see if they can make a home for themselves. DTs are going to come wafting through the middle of the map as they come straight across. Army turns up from Clem in the center. Stalker, Zealot, Colossus on the top side, going to aim for this Planetary Fortress. Planetary taking a lot of hits right here. Mothership thrown up as well. Stalkers keep on fighting. Zealots taking damage too. The rest of this bio army going to try and get back up there to chase as MaxPax gets rid of one more base. Clem on low resources. MaxPax mostly on minerals. in the bank. A time warp goes down to solidify the retreat. It's actually a really nice part of the mothership. It actually, solves one of the problems you have here as a pros player, which is retreating is difficult. Liberators are going to set up across the cannons, across these batteries. Mothership on the top side. Not sure if there's some beautiful kind of idea to this mothership being there, but yeah, we do see DT showing up top left again. So MaxPax keeping the pressure up in that regard, making sure that is not going to go too far. Nexus goes down. We do have ourselves a DT still showing up. A few DTs here. Could be caught. Oh, we're going to recall with the mothership. So now we're going to be able to catch this army from the other side. Liberator's out of position. Clem is going to get something of a surround on it. Obviously, the Liberator is going to have to unsiege and relocate again as Clem keeps on surrounding the attempted mothership recall. I was thinking, like, in my head when I said the mothership there, I was like, recall? I was like, I don't know what the recall is going to do unless you set up, like, a flank. It seemed unrealistic. MaxPax tries it, but this is why it's unrealistic. Clem cleans it up. Clem deals with it. And Clem is going to take a Game 4 victory and move up to a 3-1 advantage in this best of 7 of the WardiTV Team Liquid Map Contest Tournament 30 once the final wraps up. But that isn't just yet. As Inverge, thank you so much for your Prime sub on the Twitch channel. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for using your Prime. In the bottom right, it is going to be our Blue Terran player from Team Liquid, Clem. As we go to the top left, MaxPax, our red Protoss. This is another map with the in-base expand, but it's got these minerals, and it's actually kind of a very harassable in-base expansion. Clem has been preferring to take this base here than the in-base. Interesting, isn't it? But I actually think the logic is he'd rather defend this position and this position. Like, he'd rather defend across here much more than he'd rather defend across here. It doesn't look that different here, but I feel like that's been his logic. We'll see where he does drop the expansion down. I would imagine MaxPax goes on the in-base expansion, though. That would be a surprise. Inverge says, a YouTube watcher but decided to use my Prime sub. You're doing a wonderful job supporting the SCT scene. Hell yeah, thank you so much. That's awesome. Incredible. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the effort to hop on over to Twitch and use the Prime. We'll put it to good use. And we're constantly trying to run tournaments and put money towards prize pools, so genuinely appreciate it. Thank you so much for hopping over and using your Prime. Thank you. Probe, gonna do some nibbling. An SCV gonna take some damage, and obviously another SCV has to come across as we do play the swapsies, and this barracks will get finished. What does MaxPax want to go into over these next few moments? Is, yo, Andy, thank you so much for the 500 bits as well. Good to see you as always. Appreciate the bits, and thank you for supporting the stream today. Thank you, thank you. Probe goes down. Next in the Cybercore continue through. Command center building up. So yeah, Clem actually does go for the in-base, so maybe just adjusting a little bit compared to the other day when he was playing this map. So yeah, we take a few moments. Again, Warp Gate coming through, the CC and the factory coming about as well. And we have the Reaper from Clem. He wasn't Reaper scouting a lot in this series early. He's definitely changed that up. I think MaxPax started to show that he was willing to do things that might punish a lack of a Reaper scout. And so Clem just wants to make a little bit more sure as we continue to move on through. As the Adept will shade, the Reaper hops toward the high ground into the main base right here. And that Adept is going to turn back around to try and chase the Reaper back the other direction as well. The red on this map gives a mental disadvantage to blue. I always said this. It's funny as well because I think the minimap colors are just bugged a little bit as well. They're not meant to be those colors. I always said this as well. There's like certain maps, like it is actually better to be one color over the other. But you can also, a lot of players play with the different color schemes on as well. Although I guess that usually makes them green and then the other side yellow, like the other side red still. Yeah, so you can see MaxPax is like, he's green against blue, but Clem is like green against... Yeah, that's interesting on the minimap. I think you can still change it further, though. Yo, Zergberger, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Going out to Marshmallow, Homus Love, Melissa 9005, Sakura, and Send Imperia. Thank you so much for the generosity of 5 gifted subs. Appreciate it. Oh, early in this game 5. Cheering on MaxPax to potentially give us a game 6. Thank you, Zergberger, for the 5. Gifted subbies, thank you so much. Adept comes across, so we will see the probe going to go and place the pylon up to the top and prepare that for the third base location. I mean, it's funny because we just saw an in-base expand. It was a very passive game. I think this in-base expand is more harassable, but we might see a very passive game again where both players just say, cool, I can't really attack into your 3-base setup. That accelerates us towards the 4 bases and attack. Let me get this underway. The custom skins shown on this observer? No, pretty much any official match is hosted with a game hard or similar mod, and all of those mods have skins, skin view, players can't see skins on those mods. It just defaults to the regular skin. Oh, Medivac goes down. Tried to find the mineral line. Because it came in from here and got caught early, had such a distance to go. Doesn't get a single Widow Mine dropped off. Prism coming across the side then. So MaxPax gets rid of the Widow Mine drop. That means you can send full force across to the other side now. Has 3 gateways. We'll start warping those Stalkers and we get ready to pressure this position of Clem. Well, he has no low ground over here, so we'll see what his defense looks like. One tank really prioritizing the main base initially. Barracks are very deep with their tech labs, although I guess if you blink in here, you get to those tech labs quickly, as it's going to be the immediate split. So a bunch of Stalkers into the natural. The tank just going to protect the main base. It's difficult to jump on top of that tank. You're going to take multiple shots going in. You don't quite know what's there. So unless you make a very good guess that there's just going to be enough for you to jump on, and I think he's going to make the guess right here. He's going to go for it, but the second tank got sieged up. If he made that move a little bit sooner, it's probably okay, but now you lose 2 Stalkers and not quite the Adept. I think he didn't want to make the play because he wanted the Adept to take the first shot, otherwise it could have gone worse. So obviously in waiting, the second siege tank got there, and so far only 3 SCVs going down for Clem, who's playing a fantastic defense thus far against MaxPax in this game number 5. Rebel Bay Forge and the extra gates come up. We get the charge upgrade coming through as well. Still seeing MaxPax coming across to the front here as the Bio Army gathers up. The Observer from MaxPax will sit overhead. 2 more Stalkers warping in. We get the Immortal added on. Add a charge upgrade into this as well. Prism will load up those few Stalkers and we'll drop into this natural where we have a few Marines. It's going to start trading with those Stalkers as well. They're going to be forced to lift up and pull back a little further. Yeah, I'm good defense. So I don't think is necessarily in position to run across the map just yet. Stim will finish, but at the very least probably wants Combat Shield, Medivacs to pop. Maybe in the next minute or so we could see a move out. We'll see how that goes. Stalkers going to come around the bottom side. And we are going to see those just setting up. The couple of Medivacs are loaded. The Raven as well coming through. Have ourselves the few Stalkers going to get repositioned once more. And Thermal Lance +1. Both setting up already. A few Stalkers coming through. And our army will get underway. Start fighting, a couple Marines taking damage, Widow Mine's coming up as well. Whoa, a legendary Duttles resub for 95 months. How you doing, mate? Appreciate you. Hope it's a beautiful weekend for you. +1 an extended Thermal Land, still very much so on the way in. Our Stalker's going to come back through the center again. And this probe just continues to patrol a little bit. The 2 Medivacs of Clem will make their way back up this left-hand side. Shows up, it's going to grab this pylon, take that out. MaxPax going to be supply blocked actually from the pylon loss. Nope, that pylon on the way, although the Nexus will finish to give him some supplies, so it's not that bad of a supply block. Actually lost a little bit more supply as well, not sure where that was at. Over here. Did he just lose a prism? Might have done, yeah. When Clem starts to load up the drops again, it's going to go pretty heavy on this left side. That's going to be 4 Medivacs. MaxPax has no vision up this left side either, so really reliant on just the fact he's got 3 Stalkers and a cannon, but 4 Medivacs, the units won't care about that. I'm pushing the center as well. MaxPax is in a dangerous spot. These 3 Colossus have a lot of work to do, protecting from this army. Like I say, there's going to be a big drop at the left-hand side. Clem is going to go in. Yeah, he does the right thing as well. He doesn't hesitate. He just sends it. And that's amazing, because now these Colossus, they can't walk up this ledge, right? So they're going to have to recall in. Clem, what do we want to do? Do you want to stand and try and snipe a Colossus? Yep, he does. He gets the Colossus. Now he's going to try and make the getaway. 2 Medivacs get out. So for 2 Medivacs, we got a Colossus, a bunch of units, a bunch of probes, and we force the recall onto cooldown. And Clem's going to have the positional advantage. You are so far out of position right now, MaxPax. Clem's going to siege up the position between your 3rd and 4th. Can you get across here and justify this? The siege tanks are going to get rid of another Colossus already. The Zealot's getting jumped on. Stalker's trying to come through as the Zealot's still stepping up. Colossus going to be right there. A few more Zealots warp in. And Clem still poised with 2 Medivacs on the left-hand side. So, great set of trades here from Clem. Puts himself into a fantastic spot so far. Couple more Vikings coming about from Clem. We got the starport, engineering bay, the armory, all being brought into play as well. The 2 Medivacs go around the upper right-hand side. Just going to be seeing the 2 Medivacs on the left-hand side setting up as well. Bio unloads. Just going to be going after a couple of probes. Yeah, nice lift up and getaway. We lost a lot of Stalkers already here as MaxPax 2. He's only got 9 left. He's lost 9 in total. He actually lost a 2nd Prism as well, so he's just in trouble across the board, I think. 2 Zealots on the bottom side hanging about. Just going to be seeing the Viking bio gathering up. There's a probe right here. You can get rid of immediately, so just take that out. The Viking's still very much so overhead. Just gather. Again, bio on the right side. The Zealot going to move across too. It's going to step on over for a little bit. We have ourselves the the game really slowing down after a flurry of attacks from Clem. MaxPax is on his way to Storm. He actually got this Temple Archives a while ago, just before the drop came in, I believe. It's just he's been so caught up since then that it's been, you know, a little while until he's got Storm started. But we're able to get this going now. Colossus around that right side, a little bit of bio on the bottom still, more units gathering up into the center, just going to start grabbing a few Stalkers. One Stalker goes down, the Medivacs looking to boost up the left side. On the far right, the Prism's going to come down as well, as we see another few Stalkers moving across. Bio will unload over in this corner, the recall is going to come straight through as well. There's the Zealots, there's the Colossus, there's the Archon, coming back together, the Medivacs get into the upper left, and we're just going to be seeing this Bio Force in the center as well. Going to try and fight against a few of those Zealots. So Zealots taking even more damage. And it's a good shutdown, stopping the Zealots from reaching a mineral line. Clem definitely has been controlling this game, but as both sides are maxed out, things can absolutely flip very easily. I mean, PvP fights are volatile, storms are huge, EMPs are huge. This really can go any which way from this position. It's been great for Clem so far, but MaxPax getting maxed out is one of the challenges he's now already overcome. Is there's a first grade storm. Clem just going to commit forwards. I don't love the heavy commitment. I feel like that's going to provide danger. Gets MaxPax running. We get rid of a Colossus from it. Drop goes into the back of the natural during this. We will see a couple Stalkers dying, some probes before the Zealots warp in. It's a slow warp in. Hello? Oh no, these Zealots were fast. These Zealots are slow? In what world should that be a slow warp in? I do not know. I actually have no idea. It's off the same pylon, no? And that's next to a Nexus? Am I crazy? That didn't look right. I don't know what I'm missing. SCV's down on the other side. These couple of Zealots are going to get jumped on as Clem has actually found a way up the right-hand side. MaxPax, I don't think he saw it, otherwise he probably would have moved over here. Snipe on the High Templar, didn't have energy for Storm just yet anyway. Knock down the batteries, we're knocking down the pylon. The Nexus is going to fall, that's a cancel. Widowmine here is going to soften up a lot of the Zealots, plus some Ghost EMPs available too. And so a lot of the shields are just gone on this army. Clem takes out a good chunk of stuff right there on top of the Nexus kill. And obviously MaxPax, he's been doing worker damage, but Clem is still within 8 workers, so his economy is still very much so okay. And he's going to open up the space here to take the gold base. So he's going to decide to expand toward the Protoss, and he's going to go and utilize this space between bases that uses the inhibitor zone. I think Clem's had enough map control that he's not going to get punished too heavily for it. There's been a big discussion on Antimatter about whether this gold base is takeable or not. The kind of going through a slow zone to get between your bases is painful. It's definitely interesting because if Clem wants to retreat here, he also has to retreat through a slow zone, which is not a great idea. And I think so much of this is just Clem is confident in his ability to hold position on the map. On the left-hand side, we're going to start fighting. The Zealots start to charge up. The Bio will begin to trade out a lot of those Zealots. Plus, the Storm are going to be absolutely good to clean this up, but Clem is pushing forwards as well. He does have some Liberators in play, and these choke points up this right side, I mean, a couple of Libs cover this area, and then it's going to be very difficult to do much else about that. Marine, Marauder, Ghost, a Liberator continue through. The Advanced Ballistics coming online. The Probe pulls across to the side, and we do have ourselves another scan coming about as Clem tries to figure out what and how we're attacking on in here. Immortal just caught as the Liberator gets grabbed. This Lib going to go up here and find some probes. Maxed out armies. 2 maxed out games in a row between these two, turning into some fun stuff in this best of 7 as the Bio going to grab one of the High Templar. Clem having to retreat back around his left side. And we are going to storm on the Lightning Bolt. There's a couple of units from the upper left actually doing a lot of work. Clem, can you get those Vikings to turn on the Colossus? It's dangerous. They're low HP. I think Clem would really love getting a bit of repel on those Vikings. The Lib, wow, look at that. MaxPax sees the Liberator before losing the probe there. That's impressive. That's a very fast pull away. Considering there's so much else going on. What an EMP though! All the High Templar are clumped up and the Ghost cloaked up. Finds the EMP dead center on everything suddenly. MaxPax is going to turn and run, but then he's getting chased and he doesn't love being chased. The Archons do very well against the Liberators, so they will not last forever, but the last Colossus goes down. Now there's no splash damage. 2 Archons in the back are too far away to get involved. Clem's supply plummeted as well, and so both players will disengage from this in the end. Clem's still mining off of this gold base on the right-hand side currently, and MaxPax just backing away from that too. What an EMP, and that is just no detection on the army. Did not see the Ghost so close to him, and didn't feel the need to pre-split the High Templars. It's the same story right now. Another Cloak Ghost, the lack of detection. MaxPax, we've got to get some detection going because Clem is punishing you for not having it. I mean, that Storm was good, and Clem's going to have to step away. May have to just set up the Liberators defensively here as 2 Medivacs just went down. I have no idea what killed these. That almost feels like he friendly fired them. Not 100% sure what just happened on that one as we come back across. Libs are going to siege up again. This Archon should not last long, but the Stalker's actually going to blink into the Liberators, so maybe the Archon lasts longer than I expect. Now it goes down. We have one Storm that finds a few Marines as MaxPax looking to punch on through. Zealots are charging forwards. The Liberators are out of here. We don't have much left, but we don't want to chase into the choke point, but by moving away, we just gifted Immortal. Now we're going to lose a High Templar as well. No, we did not get the final shot. It's not good enough. But it's another Templar from the left-hand side that will try and find the opening. Another Immortal shows up to replace the one that fell, and MaxPax is still pushing forwards against a very low number of units, but the Planetary Fortress adds so much defense to this also. It's a great Storm on top of more herd value units that brings them lower on HP. The Medivacs are drained of energy as well. So tough for them to get involved right now with the Orbital Command burning and falling, and MaxPax still applying pressure in this direction, but with the Planetary and with another Lib showing up, Clem should be able to hold onto this position, and we should be okay to survive and to see this game continue through on Antimatter in this Game 5 of the series. MaxPax repositioned to the left-hand side, taking his own gold base now, only just starting to get that up. Clem's been mining his own gold base for a sizable amount of time here. Resources lost, we'll say, a 3k difference in the game at the moment. It's actually funny, Clem has not gone 3-3. Which is definitely something he'd want to move towards. MaxPax is moving into +2 armor upgrades now. Clem's just been a bit busy. He's got the gas for it as well. Minerals come in frequently enough. He should be able to start those upgrades. It's potential sometimes you obviously prioritize a lot of the tech units instead of upgrades as well as a Terran because those tech units are so important in the matchup. But there's no way with the amount of times Clem's been maxed out that 3-3 is not meant to be here right now. So that's definitely having an impact. His units could be doing so much better in so many of these fights. Storm's coming down, Bio taking damage, a High Templar in the center falling as well. We have an Observer or two here now as well, so we fixed one of the problems that we had previously. Those Ghosts not going to be able to come in as much of a surprise. Zealots flanking from the top. The High Templar's waiting for the Storm, gets a good chunk of units there. Another Storm available. This base is going to start taking damage. Can the High Templar find a Storm? No, it's going to get sniped on down. Good snipe from Clem. The High Templar not fast enough to get away. The Liberator is sieging, the Zealots are melting. And once again, Clem takes a step forward. MaxPax trying to dance outside of Liberation zones, but he's not able to do enough. The Zealots Again, just kind of getting gifted. They're going down so quickly. There go the Observers, going to give the Ghost chance to play cloak games once again. As again, retreating away is never fun for Protoss. The Immortals decide to turn and fight another Liberator sieging up on top of this army. All of the Immortals are going down. The Stalkers are tanking, which is not what you really want. The Archon is in the backfield, cannot get in range to attack, and Clem's army supply is absolutely winning out. This army from MaxPax is not good enough. He's missing the proper splash damage. A couple of storms were nice, but he needs more. He needs something else, and it's not here right now, as Clem now has a 50 army supply lead, pushing through. The last Immortal falling. There's one High Templar, the lifeline of MaxPax, because without splash damage, he does not win these fights. 2 new Colossus in production. He realizes the problem. We step forward here. The High Templar gets saved, but once again, we lost those Observers, and that means that the Ghost will live for a few more moments. Gets blinked on his uncloaks. But yeah, again, it's a danger, and it's something you've got to respect right now as MaxPax. Stalker step up. The Bio Army loses another Ghost. Good target firing from MaxPax here, who's clawing his way back to being maxed out. The question is, this maxed out army, is it any better than what he had before? No, it's so Stalker and Zealot heavy. The Colossus are nice, but at least before, like, you were basically replacing Immortals with Stalkers. I like the previous army just with some extra splash. Now we're going to have worse units to accompany the splash that we are getting. The Liberator count is absolutely disgusting at this point, but it does go through stormy weather. Turbulence for the Liberators. They take a lot of hits. We're going to turn around that one Colossus fresh and new. We're going to chase it as Clem. MaxPax does not have space in the Prism to save it, so that is not going to come on out. And the army coming back over the left-hand side. We are going to have a Colossus firing a few more hits off. Shots coming through. Fire going to stim up over here. One EMP only hits a single Zealot. We're going to load up. Those slow zones are interesting, right? As they kind of work both ways. It also provides defense up this left side into this base. Stalker Blink was beautiful. Got the medevac. A couple of Ghosts are cloaking to stay safe. Probes are going down somewhere. I don't know where. This game has gotten to the point of chaos that's very difficult to keep up with it all. Liberator siege up. High Templar goes down. The Immortal going to get hit by that Liberator as well. Observer falls too. Another couple of Zealots get warped in. The cannons are building. EMP onto the Prism. It's an easier target. The High Templar drops the storm that it has. It's the Liberators. Liberators are just going to be the issue here. We warp in big into the in-base, which is where the medevac is. That should just be a lift up and get out of there scenario, I think, from Clem, if he realizes it. But he is busy elsewhere, remember. And looks like he's just going to end up fighting this, which, the Ghost going down is the shame. Because those are obviously pretty expensive. MaxPax trying to fight on through, but again, Liberators are just so tough to deal with right now. And MaxPax doesn't have the money to replace Stalkers, so anytime a Stalker goes down, that's less defense against Liberators for the future, so that's even more of a problem. Lip Siege again, the Bio Army steps up, a Viking gonna fire, Colossus taking damage, a few more Zealots coming back the other way, Storm's coming down, the Bio doing well, EMP drops into place. MaxPax going to open these rocks to have a little bit of a different access point through the middle of the map, so that's actually kind of interesting. Clem's immediately here to say, okay, cool, we're fighting through this area now. But I tell you what MaxPax does have, it's a much better army than he had before. Now with multiple High Templars, multiple Colossus, we're at a level of splash where I'm kind of happy, even if the Immortal count isn't quite there, even if this is just gateway units to accompany it. So that makes me feel a lot better about that. There's a couple more Colossus shots coming out, Bio still gathering, another nice snipe. Any High Templar we get rid of is an expensive replacement from MaxPax. As gas is a problem, and MaxPax is the one who's struggling to keep bases online. Clem has bases across the bottom left, across the far right. This is a fresh base that is under attack right now. It's the first time we've really seen MaxPax providing issues to one of Clem's bases in a long time. So it's a little bit overdue, basically. And so Clem, you can see his money's banking up, whereas MaxPax is, drawing on reserves just to be able to max out still. And that's going to be an impactful one as well. It means that MaxPax in a fight has to really win convincingly. Otherwise, Clem's reinforcements are just going to be too much, and the win is not going to matter all that much at all. So, again, difference right there. As we are going to step through, Storm coming down. Liberator sieging again once more. Those Liberators, just every now and then we wander into range of those. This Storm's not good enough. Clem's realizing the weakness of MaxPax's army. He doesn't think this is good enough, and he is correct. MaxPax has to say GG, and Clem will take himself to the grand finals of the Team Liquid Map Contest Tournament. A grand final he has never been a part of. MaxPax had been in the finals once before, but Clem has never been in the finals of a TLMC tournament, so there we go. Clem will take the victory, and he will